Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Maria Gonçalves podcast. I'm your host, Maria Gonçalves, and today we have a special guest, a local medium, Effie Linke. So, welcome, Effie.
Hello, Maria. Nice to see you. Nice to have you nearby and someone close to
Yeah.
Toronto. It's
Oh, it is
great.
beautiful. So, for those that are listening, where are you located, Effie?
I grew up in Toronto, downtown Ontario,
Yeah.
and I have moved now to Vaughan, Ontario.
Okay. So, we're not too far away. I'm in Hamilton. It's about an hour and a little bit of a drive to get to you, except when there's a snowstorm, then it might be a little bit longer.
That's right. But
So I'm just gonna let you know a little bit about Effie. So Effie has a remarkable and multifaceted journey as an evidential and psychic medium. She brings comfort, connection to many by demonstrating the continuity of love and life beyond the physical realm. Her role as a metaphysical wedding officiant and certified Reiki healer highlights her commitment to spiritual wellness and healing, balancing her corporate career and her spiritual work. Effie demonstrates a unique blend of practical and profound spiritual understanding. She offers her gifts to small groups, large audiences, spiritualist churches, and charitable causes, spreading hope and healing wherever she goes. Her dedication to helping others discover and enhance their spiritual gifts is truly inspiring. Effie's mission to remind others that we are all spirit. That is, yes, we are. And we are all made of love and connected eternally speaks volumes about her compassionate nature. Her work brings love, hope, healing, and peace to many, making a significant impact on their spiritual journey. It's clear she is deeply honored to be part of such beautiful, meaningful work. It's beautiful how she touches lives with such warmth and sincerity. So,
oh,
welcome, Effie.
thank you, Maria. Thank you.
So I am curious, Effie, like, have you always had mediumistic abilities? Like, were you a medium as a kid?
No, no, I wasn't.
So,
Go ahead.
so how did you get into this world of mediumship then?
One day, I woke up at the pandemic, right when it started, and th- there was this conviction inside me, Maria, that I knew I was a medium. There was nobody that could take that away from me. I just knew that I was a medium and it was a calling that I could not ignore.
Like, how?
It was inside my soul, this internal knowing, this internal knowing that I can do this. And I did not have any family members or loved ones who were mediums. There was no story behind my journey to become a medium. I just woke up one day and it was like lightning struck my soul, and I could do this. The interesting thing about this, growing up, I was the person that wanted to always go to the psychic fairs. I was always wanted to go to the medium shows. I was always interested. So I would gather all my friends and loved ones and we would have a ball and we'd make it into a fun day and collect stones, collect bracelets, do astrology, tarot. It was fun. It was very high level and I was fascinated with it all. Some of the readings I would receive, oh, you're going to be a medium. Oh, you're going to be a medium. Oh, you're going to be a medium. No, not me. Not me. This is for somebody else. I'm not a medium. So it was this repetitive message all throughout the psychic shows and getting readings when I was drawn to someone, you're going to be doing this. No, no, no. So I forgot about it. This is for someone else. This is not for me. So right when, again, when the pandemic started, February, it was 2020, I woke up and there was World War III could have started, Maria, and I knew I was a medium. That was how strong it was, this calling that I could not turn away from. It was my sole purpose to be doing this work. It's interesting how it aligns because I work full time. I
Yeah.
work in the corporate world. And how am I going to do this work? How am I going to develop while still working full time? Well, what happened during the pandemic, Maria? The world
We're
shut
all at
down,
home. We're all at home.
right? So, also, while we were all working virtually during the day, I was developing in the evenings. I was practicing, going to as many circles as possible. It became a mission for me to develop and to learn and learn and learn that it got to a point where I wasn't speaking to anyone. I was very isolated and I was just wanting to develop as a medium. And one day, my family sat me down and said, "You need to do something about this." And that is when I realized I needed to get training. I needed to get professional training. Luckily, I have a strong marriage, so my spouse was very supportive of my journey.
Yeah.
And at that moment, when I told my friends and family that I was a medium, their comment was, "Oh, you were always into this. We're not surprised." I was. So we're not surprised. You were always into this.
So I'm curious, because you said you went to psychic fairs and they all said you were mean. How old were you when they started saying that to you?
I was about 17, 18 years old, right when they started the psychic fairs. They weren't as evolved as it much was today.
Yeah.
Or when you're passing through the stores where they have their own mystical shops and you want to get a quick reading or a tarot reading, they would always end that you are a medium. They would always end, "You're going to be doing this work." Took it with a grain of salt. Took it with a grain of salt because I thought they're telling everybody this. They're
Yeah.
not telling me because we all have the gift. We all have this gift that we can develop. So when that happened, my life changed dramatically. It
Yeah.
changed absolutely dramatically. And I knew that this is something that I will be doing for the rest of my life. So it wasn't my job because I was during the day working corporate and in the evenings and on the weekends developing. I had to start balancing my life to start seeing my family and my friends. So that was a little bit of a tape stick, which way to go, left or right. So I needed to really get some good time management skills. And thank goodness I had those. And so I would block my days off to see my family. Everybody understood what I was doing,
Yeah.
and they knew it was too strong that I could not turn away from this.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that you said your family sat you down and had that conversation. So was your family also into this or not at all?
No, there is no psychics, there is no mediums in my family or that I'm aware of. It
Yeah.
was just, as I said, one day I woke up and I knew I could do this. I have a large family. If do you remember the movie My Big Fat Greek Family?
Yeah, that's my family too.
That's my family. So there was 400 people at my wedding, and then my husband's side had a people of 10. But I was brought up in a very disciplined household where there was a lot of dogma and a lot of their religious influences were upon us bestowed. And I never questioned it. I did what I was told because the strictness and the discipline of my household, I I was afraid. I was afraid to even question anything else about except what I'm supposed to believe in. And but we believed in angels, but if I was bad, I was going down to a place that wasn't good. And
Yeah.
if I and all of that, so I had to go to Sunday school. I had to go to church. I did this for 18 years, but it never felt right inside, Maria.
Yeah.
I knew there was something that was off that I didn't question because it was I had to listen to what I was brought up with and I had to go by what my parents' religious views and my family what they believed in.
Yeah.
And one of the factors that I really thank my grandparents because they were a big part of my life when they raised me. They were very disciplined. When I started my development and my mediumistic journey to start working and studying and learning all the clairs, I realized how much discipline is in that and sitting in the power. It came a little bit easier for me because I already had that footprint from that discipline as a child. So it was easy for me to sit in the power for longer periods. It was easy for me to start training. It was almost very natural because I thanked my grandparents for being so strict and being so disciplined that I could do things what I needed to do. And when I saw it was sitting in the power that really transformed my medium mission, my journey. That's when I really started to see a shift. And it
Yes.
wasn't just myself, but I started to see who I was becoming and who I was really meant to be.
So this is an interesting question. Do you think mediums are born? Are we born mediums? It's that age-old question. Or are we trained into mediums?
I believe everybody has the gift. I believe everybody can develop. I It's not she has the ability or he has special gifts. We all have this gifts because it goes back to the old adage of we are souls living in a human body. And this is the experience that we have put in our blueprint that we want to experience on this planet Earth. And we all are, because we are souls, we already have those innate abilities inside us and learning how to develop them, learning how to use all our clairs, trust our instincts, trust, have that confidence to start building inside us, to start using and developing. And it takes time. It's not easy. It takes a long, long time to develop. And we're going to be continuously developing for the rest of our lives once we step into this journey.
Oh, yeah. And then there's the whole self-healing part to it too, right?
Right, right. Sitting in the power, as I began to sit in the power, a lot of things were coming up, Maria, from the past that I had not worked on because our soul knows everything. It's in our blueprint. And as I was beginning to connect to connect to issues from the past that I hadn't worked on, I realized I had either covered them up or I had chosen to forget about them or I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And as that began to stir up inside me, I knew I had to start to work on that. And that was one of the blessings in disguise for sitting in the power, is starting to work and heal my past. And look at it as a positive where what did I learn from that? What were the learning lessons from that? And to take and move it forward because if I'm not working on me, how can we be of healing and service to others?
Yeah. That is
I
very true.
another I had to start learning to trust spirit. So I didn't know who my team was. And as I was developing, I would hear about, do you know your spirit team? Do you know no, I don't know who my spirit team is. I think I do, maybe. I'm not sure. What is a spirit team? What
Yeah.
are they? And I started to work with my spirit team. And as I started to work, I started to know when my spirit guide was coming in. I felt her right away. I started to know it's all energy. As I was studying I would start to feel a certain other spirit coming in that was helping me with my studies. So they would switch whichever was the right guide I needed at that time. One of the things I started to realize working with my spirit team is I needed help. So, and they can do that on the other side. And I didn't realize how influential or how they can make miracles happen in our lives if we ask. A very specific example was I have a daughter and she has ADHD and she would try so hard, Maria, and in her homework. And I could see that effort that she was trying. And she wasn't getting to the level that she was supposed to. And I was working with the teachers and nobody was giving her the help that she needed. And it wasn't until I saw her and how hard and how devastated I felt, helpless, that I couldn't get her the help that she deserved. I saw me
Yeah.
40 years ago, realizing that I had the same learning disability that she had. And I was on the cusp, but she was in grade 8 when I realized that she had ADHD and the school wasn't helping me, where I turned to the spirit world and I said I needed to get assessed as soon as possible. I was calling all types of places that would do assessments, and the waiting lists here in Ontario, you know what they're like to get a referral from a doctor. There was years, some of them. So I said to them, I will do the hard work, but I need specific a meeting with a psychologist tomorrow at 9 a.m. for my daughter. I got to it and I called and called places. I just called, just did that work for hours and hours. It was a Tuesday. 4:30 on that Tuesday, end of day, I get a call back from one of the
Yeah.
top psychologist places in Ontario that they had a cancellation at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning at Wednesday, and if I could come in with her.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
I love that.
That's when I said, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is how they also opened up doors for me. That one assessment for her, there's a portion of it that the parents have to do. And
Yeah.
as I was completing her portion, I identified to almost 80% of the questions, which I hear is very, very, very common. So at that moment, I realized I think I need to get assessed too. So I got assessed. And lo and behold, we both have ADHD. And I turned to her and I said, we're going to be in this journey and we're going to navigate this together. And
Yeah.
that's a blessing. I really turned up and said thank you, because not only did they open up the door for my daughter, but they also had opened it up for myself to get help and to better how to navigate the not just the ADHD, but to get her the coaching and to get her the help that she deserved, that she always needed.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
I think that's amazing. So for those of you that are listening and you're not sure, what is a spirit team? So can you tell us what a spirit team is, Effie?
So a spirit team is are there's spirits on the other side, and they are also your spirit guides. I have a main spirit guide who is always with me. I feel her all the time when she's around. And your spirit team helps you. They help you with your readings. They help you navigate your life when you're going through uh, troublesome issues. Your spirit team also could be different types of spirit guides. They could be spirit guides that are helping you with your education. They could be spirit guides that are helping you with your psychic abilities. They could be spirit guides that are helping also with your mediumship abilities. Or they could just be that inkling inside when you know that your gut feeling that something's wrong. Those are your spirit guides, those little nudges. Did I just hear that? Was that really her? Did that really happen? That's your trust that. And I say that to everyone. Trust your instincts always.
Yes.
Trust your instincts. They are here to help us. They love us so, so much, Maria. And I always ask them for help. I'm very specific with my questions and I
Yeah.
put a timeline on it, and they always come through in a roundabout way. They do come
Yeah.
through.
I find it interesting when people talk about spirit guides, because I remember back in the day, and I don't know if you experienced this, where there is that competition. My spirit guide, I'll trump you because mine is a native spirit guide, or I got an owl as a power animal. What do you have? Do you only have like a little kitten? Like, do you notice that when people talk about spirit guides, they're very, because I used to get that in the beginning for readings. People always wanted to know, who's my spirit guide? Is it all powerful? Are they the wisest spirit guide? It was like weird. So I don't know. Have you noticed when people do that? Like, I don't do
Mm,
that, but I
I
also found
don't.
it
No,
interesting.
I
Yeah.
don't do that. No, I don't. With spirit guides, I haven't experienced that. Is my spirit guide Buddha? Is it a wise person? Is it Jesus? I
Yeah.
haven't had that, but
Oh, you haven't seen that? I've
but I
seen it in the
have.
competition. It's
Oh,
weird. So just know for those that are listening, all spirit guides are amazing. They're all equal. One spirit guide is not better than another. Your spirit team is perfect for you on this earth, like to have this human experience that you're having now. It's perfect.
and what I can a tip I tell people when they share, oh, I think my spirit's guide is Jesus. It may not be Jesus, but it could be a form of Jesus that you have in your memory that comes forward. And so when you see them, you know Jesus as a very holy, very, very high energy person. So it may not be him, but it could be someone resembling him to make it easy for you. And that could be your spirit guide underneath that.
Yeah.
We were mentioning
Spirit animals, because I find there's
spirit.
competition in there too. I got now. What do you have? Oh, you only have a snake? It's like, what? I
I
just find this whole world fascinating. I'm going to be honest, especially in the beginning of your spiritual journey, because I find people are super excited, but then there's also a little bit of competition going on,
Right,
especially,
right.
and I find it super fascinating with the conversations about spirit guides, spirit teams. And then even today I was talking to somebody where they were like, well, I don't know who my spirit, I know there's somebody there, but I don't know who they are. Should I know who they are? I don't like I personally, I know I got people here. I don't need to know who my people are. I just know they got my
And
back.
from what I know, they don't care that we don't know.
Yeah.
They're always with us. They don't care that we don't know what their names are. We can call them whatever name we want. We can call them Francis. We can call them Tony. It works for them. It works for them. As long as they
Yes.
believe, they're always with us. They're never going to leave our side. They will always, always be with us. Uh,
I love that. That's
the
so true.
it is. It
Get
is.
away from the ego. Don't worry what you call them whatever you want. Because then that's a human thing, right? Because we need to put it in a box so our mind understands.
Yes, yes. That's exactly right, Maria. That's exactly right. So another interesting fact about my journey was as I started to sit in the power, and
Mhm.
as I began to develop, and as I was really noticing this shift, this transformation, as my loved ones started to realize I was a medium, I would go to places and they would ask me, "Do you see anything? Do you feel anything? What's my aura like? Am I going to?" And wow.
Oh,
And I guess that's a common theme that you hear from mediums when they go into rooms. And I always had boundaries with that.
yeah.
And I developed it at the very, very onset, where I don't pick up energies when I walk into a room. I'm not working. I am not working. I'm here to be with you, to be present, and to be with my family and my friends who are here. I don't share if there's any negative energy or if there's any positive energy. I don't do that. I find it also very intrusive because if I do share something, it becomes a wider conversation and more people would gather around and it takes away from the actual moment that we're really there for that party or the celebration or the weddings. So when I'm not working, and I do say that I'm not working, I'm here to be with you and just
Yeah.
to spend time with you. So that was the boundaries I had to develop with my loved ones and my friends.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Uh, I am curious, how did you get into Reiki?
Good question. It was the first year of my journey, and I was meeting mediums. They all had Reiki. Most had Reiki, and I'd heard of Reiki. I'd heard of healing with hands, but I didn't really know a lot about it. So I thought, okay, let's try it out without really being drawn to it. So I took a 4-day workshop of Reiki, got a certificate, and I never used it after that, Maria. Except when someone is asking for healing, I do use it with hands distance healing,
Yeah.
but I never really fully adopted the philosophy of Reiki. And I may one day down the road, though I was very busy developing and really pouring a lot of energy, effort, and hours of discipline into the mediumship training those first couple of years.
Yeah.
And that discipline, I really, like I said, I credit to my grandparents
Yeah.
of honing me and being very focused when they wouldn't let me get away with anything.
Yeah.
I had to finish my homework till the very end. I had to fold the clothes to the very end. I couldn't go outside until I did all my chores. And there's a certain way to do the chores. So I really, as much as I wasn't happy with them, I
Yeah.
thank them today. I thank them. And it comes out in so many ways when I have to do a job, even at my corporate job, finishing it to the very end,
Yeah.
completing that task, not letting it go. And it's very rewarding. It's a very rewarding feeling when you come up with a solution and find the answer and knowing how to move around. It's just always not that perfect way. You have to think outside of the box. And
Yeah.
that's mediumship too. The
Yeah.
interpretations. What does that mean? What does that mean? It's all interpretations when we're giving our readings. How do we interpret our words? How do we share what we're feeling, what we're experiencing, what we're knowing?
Yeah. I think too, I don't know, I had a thought and it escaped my mind. Let me see. Oh, here's my question for you. I am curious, has your mediumship changed over the years?
Yes, it
And
has.
how?
When I first started, I was very claircognizant. So
Okay.
claircognizant, I just knew. I just knew. I didn't know how I knew. I just knew. And it was the very first thought. It developed into clairvoyance objectively. So I started to see a lot. As I started to sit in the power, I was beginning to become much more also clairsentient, sitting in the power. And I, I started to evolve where I wasn't seeing as much as I used to, and
Yeah.
I was becoming much more clairsentient. And the clairsentient, when I would feel spirit come in, I would want to put up my hands if he was a mechanic and he was really good with cars. I just felt someone that was I'm a master at what I do. And I would just become him. And I could see that that was a lot of the clairsentience. And also sitting in the power, I was noticing I could hold the link longer and without using a lot of more energy. So it was two positives in one. Also, the clairsentience the clairsentience started to develop and it became one of the main ones. But it's a very multifaceted experience, the clairs.
Yeah.
So I would notice that they were all shooting off sometimes all at once.
Yeah.
Whichever way it was, they would go in different directions. But the core for me was the clairsentience. And really, and as you and I as mediums, we probably have had thousands of readings given to us. From my experience,
Given to us? I don't know about that. Given to
as we're
people, yes.
developing with our exchanges, our practices going,
Yeah.
the um the readings that have been given to me that have made tears go down my eyes, the mediums have said very little words.
Hmm.
It is feeling my loved one was with them.
Yeah.
I knew she had him. I knew she had her.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to say much. It was just their energy that was coming out of their soul. I could feel my loved one through them. And
Yeah.
those were the ones, the healing that I received from my loved ones on the other side. Those were the most powerful, some of those powerful readings for me.
Yeah.
Some of the most powerful readings. I started to see how powerful clairsentience was.
Yes. Yes.
And my monkey brain would always come into the forefront, Maria. Always. Did I feed the cat? Did I close the oven? Did I take the laundry out? What did I do all of that? And I was I just had to let go and surrender. And sometimes I, I wouldn't even go and you wouldn't even think about it. I have to sit in the power. And because of I'm so busy and I don't have a lot of time on my hands, I had to surrender that it's okay to do 10 minutes today. It's okay to skip a day. It's
Yeah.
okay to do it when I can. And I had to forgive myself. And as I began to release all of that, it felt really gratifying and to just be me. I be me, you be you. Sitting in the power, sometimes I would feel nothing, Maria. Absolutely nothing. But I had to trust there was lots of things going on in the background. I had to trust that. So, and also sometimes my sitting in the power after an hour, it would be like, and that's when I knew I had a really good sitting in the power session.
Yeah.
It would just go so fast. And I went, oh, that's an hour. That was an
Yeah.
hour. Wow. And that sitting in the power also helped me calm down my nerves, calm down my monkey brain. I have social anxiety growing up, very much feel always rejected from the crowd, always wanted to be a part of that. And sitting the power also helped with that. It's just to be me, do what I need to do, what feels good for me. Everybody is unique. Everybody has their own style.
Yeah. Do you find you crave quiet now or no?
What I wanted to, before I go to that, there was something else with how it changed. When I would watch mediums, I've noticed within the last year when I see the platform demonstrations and I see spirit connect to them, I would notice this huge white light come close to them. And the first time I saw that, I was, wow, wow, you are stunned. It's surreal. What is that? But as I started to notice, that was the spirit that was getting close to them, and I could see the medium, how they were affected by the expression of the soul that they were blending with. It was amazing. It was
Yeah.
amazing. So that's how it also evolved. I would see this beautiful gold light come down close to the mediums, behind them or close to their head, right over there. And it was incredible watching that. And I went, my gosh,
That is
if
awesome.
they could see what I see.
Yeah.
And those are the
I
moments I should be taking pictures. And it's just, I don't because it's just happens so fast. And
yeah.
it's just a surreal moment. And you're just stunned watching this beautiful moment of blending.
I think that's I think that's really cool. I love watching mediumship demonstrations. I don't go in with the intention I want a reading for me. I just like observing the miracle, the magic, and that aha moment when the person receiving is like, "Oh my goodness, they got my loved one. They really got my." I love those moments. They're my favorite moments in all mediumship demonstrations. It's that aha moment of, "It's real. Their soul lives on forever." I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely, Maria. And in some of those demonstrations, Maria, even if we're not getting the readings, we're crying ourselves because we could feel their loved one through the
Yeah.
medium. And we're crying. Those tears are coming through the entire audience, but there's sometimes not a dry eye, not a dry eye.
Good.
And you know that that's when they come through and that person receives those healing messages, that profound happiness we have for them, but
Yeah.
also for us there, that power that dealing with an intelligence on the other side that is I cannot comprehend. I
Yeah.
way beyond our level right now.
Yeah.
So also what I started to notice in my readings, there were times when I'd be reading and it was more the virtual readings where I would see spirit come behind them
Oh,
and
cool.
oh. And the very first time I was afraid to turn around because they're going to be gone as this is not real.
Yeah.
And I had to get used to sometimes they came, sometimes they didn't. So I would
Yeah.
see sometimes spirit walk up behind them and just stay with them for the entire reading or just maybe for a few moments.
Yeah.
I would also notice in my journey that my spirit team would start tweaking me a bit,
Yeah.
trying to notice which way my development was going. So I would be so afraid I'm not a medium anymore. I can't do this, even though it was going so well. What happened?
Yeah.
And as I would speak to my tutor, it would say, "Oh, you're just being tweaked. You're just turning into trying to see which way, which way your development can go into. We
Yeah.
don't know, but again, that trust.
You gotta
Again, that
trust.
trust. I had to trust them and let go.
Yeah.
Let go.
And knowing that our mediumship, it does change. It does change. I find in the beginning, from the interviews that I've done, which I find so interesting, meeting all these incredible mediums from around the world, a lot of them start off extremely clairvoyant. And then over time, it becomes more claircognizance, just that knowing. So I find that super interesting. But I am curious because you were talking about sitting in the power and just sitting there with spirit. Are you more of, I sat in the power and now I'm done and I have to, and I go about my daily life? Or are you, like for me, I notice, and I've always been like this, I'll sit in the power, but I crave silence. Like I cannot stand white noise in the back. It makes me batty. Like I know my kids, they love the radio on, they love the TV, like they need that that noise, that white noise in the background. And that just, I don't like it. I just like quiet. I love quiet. I crave quiet.
Right.
So I'm curious, are you weird like me? Or are you more like, hey, I just sat in the power and now I can hit, I find I'm like super sensitive to noise.
So what I start to see is when I would be at the office and it was a very, very busy day and lots happening and lots of tension, lots of back and forth. I used to be able to be okay and manage that, to manage those emotions. But after one full day of lots of high energies, I would go home exhausted,
Yeah.
absolutely exhausted. And I needed to unwind, and it would take some time, and my energy was just absolutely drained. I I had to work on honing that and how to build up that resilience to control the energies from not picking them up. So
Yeah.
as after some time of sitting in the power, like there it goes. We have a theme going on,
The
Maria.
silence
The
after
silence.
silence. So you are weird like me.
Yeah.
You needed the silence. I love
Yeah.
it. I'm
I
like
start
addicted to silence.
It's this quietness. I didn't want to have the radio on anymore. I didn't want to hear the TV anymore. I just wanted quiet within the house.
Yeah.
But we live in this world. We have children, we have commitments, we have appointments, we have to get things done.
Yeah.
So managing, building boundaries again, and also I would start to hone my own auric field of not picking up a lot, and it worked. It
Yeah.
worked. I could go to places, I could go to conferences, I could go to weddings where there's thousands of people there, and I would be okay. But that took a long time. And sitting in the power, there it is, helped with that. In the car today, I can't listen to the radio.
Yeah.
I can't listen to the radio. I just need quietness when I'm driving.
Yeah.
I'm okay if I have some loved one and we're having a conversation back and forth, but the news or hearing about traffic or what's
Yeah.
just turn it off now. And even the TV in our house.
I find the car, it depends on the day. Some days quiet is perfect, and other days it needs to be as loud as possible. I'm just in a very loud mood and a high energy mood, and I need loud music. I'm surprised I don't blow out my eardrums, but I go, and I find that spirit working with us too, right? It's like, hey, we're gonna, like, I find when I'm going to do Dems at churches, I like that hour or half hour getting to the church in the car, the radio's full blast. I
Oh,
need music.
wow.
I need that high viber. I need the party because it's a party, right? You're gonna meet the spirit world. You're gonna pass messages. But then I know there are other mediums that go into complete silence before a dum. It's like I I'm not that medium. I need the party. But
Okay. So for
I need the
myself,
party. I need the loud. I need the because I'm super busy. I'm like, oh, I could feel like 1,000 spirits with me. And it feels like New Year's Eve to me, like that
Gala, yeah.
bubbling. That's
Yes.
what it feels like before a dam. So I'm in that space.
Right.
But what I do have, and correct me if I'm wrong for you, but it's that consistent sit in the power every single day. Because if you're consistent every single day, because I do, and I think this is part of when you're starting your mediumship development, because I know I've done it. If you guys are listening out there, I bet you probably done it too. Because in the beginning of your mediumship development, you'll be like, oh, I have a reading. I'm going to sit in the power. And then you don't sit in the power for the rest of the week until the next reading. And then you're like, why are my connections so wonky? Why aren't they flowing? Because we're not consistent. And here you go. The theme of the day by Effie is because we're not sitting in the power regularly. So for
Sit in
those
the
of you
power. If
listening,
your readings are choppy, sit in the power.
sit in
If
the
you have
power.
lots going on, sit in the power.
Yes.
Sit in the power. And it's one of the most fundamental things we can tell everyone, Maria, you and I, is when they're starting their journey, and I wish I had done this from the very beginning, is to sit in the power for
Yeah.
as long as you can and to forgive yourself if you miss a day or two or if life gets busy. But to start to develop this, make it into a hobby, make it something that I have to sit in the power. And
Yeah.
that is where you will start to notice your readings, your mediumship, your development overall will start
Yeah.
to evolve. And you'll start to really feel the other side to blend with them. It
Yeah.
is one of the most magical things I tell mediums when they're starting in their journey, and not to compare yourself to other mediums, which is what
Yes.
I would do. I
Yeah.
would
I
do
think
that.
we
Oh
all
my,
at
yeah,
some point or another, we're like, oh my God, she was so much better. Did you hear her evidence? Oh, she got names. Oh, she got address. I'm not that medium. Don't come for me for names and addresses. I'm not going to do that. But I find it so interesting because in the beginning, I would do that. I'd be like, oh, look at their evidence. It's so good. And then I just started to learn who am I as a person, as a human being, because your mediumship is a mirror of you.
yes. So, I'm glad you brought this up for names and addresses. What's in a name? So, if you have a name and you get a name in a reading or a street number, it's more than that.
Yeah.
It's more than that. It's not just the name or the specific evidence. Who were they in life? What was their personality like? What
Yeah.
was their relationship with you? What were they like with others? That is really the core of feeling them when they come in. That's your clairsentience.
Yeah.
I have you and I probably have seen thousands of readings viewed, and
Yeah.
how many of them do not get names, but they're still powerful readings?
Oh, yeah,
That's
absolutely. But if you are that medium that gets the names and you get the addresses, I think that's amazing.
yes.
I'm not it. So I'm not it.
I don't, that's me too.
That's
And if it
not me.
happens, it happens. If it
But
doesn't, it doesn't.
there was a famous medium, but I can't remember his name. And he used to be a postal worker.
Wow.
So when he was doing his demonstrations in the UK, but I can't remember his name. So if you guys are listening to this, type his name in the comment section or email me with his name, but he was a postal worker. So for him, he would get names and addresses.
Wow.
So because your
Because
mediumship is
that's
a
what he did
reflection of
of
you.
you. That's
And for
absolutely
me, I
true.
noticed within my own mediumship, just growing up, like we would sit, I remember being a kid sitting around the fireplace with my grandmother and we would tell stories. And I heard this story. Do you know your great grandfather did this? So within my mediumship, because I love stories, I love those memories, I love those stories. And I notice I bring that a lot into the reading because for myself, Stories are powerful. That's why I love podcasting. But it touches your heart because you're like, "Oh, I remember that. I remember that memory. I remember that story." So, yeah, so it
It's
is
so
your mediumship
beautiful.
is a reflection of who you are.
And in that story, you can unfold it because you already have the creativity of storytelling
Yeah.
and be able to bring it alive.
Yeah.
So when you're sharing the stories of the mediums of the spirit's life and the sitter's life, you will notice people that are listening, they're following with you, and it's like you're there with them.
Yeah.
And that is such a beautiful thing that you have, Maria, that you're able to tell a story and bring it alive with the actions and the interpretations and where we went and places we did and what
Yeah.
we ate and who we brought along. And maybe there's it goes on and on. It can start to unfold and unfold and unfold. And then I think it's incredible. And that is mediumship to me.
Yeah.
Mediumship is a story, the story of the spirit's life. And because when they're going to come in, I notice for myself, they're going to bring me to a place and time with the sitter.
Yeah.
And they always bring me to a place and time that has a meaningful impact to them.
Nice.
And that sitter, I usually will see the emotions that will come from that time and that place for them.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can't, I begin to cry myself, Maria. I can't keep the
Yeah.
emotions in. And that's something I had to learn too, is
Yeah.
how to contain my emotions. It's okay to cry, Effie. It's okay to cry, but it's so much love that you're
Yeah.
feeling that is flowing into you. And I would say to myself, if this is 1 ounce of the love that I'm feeling from the other side,
Yeah.
imagine what it's really like on the other side. And
Yeah.
it makes us all emotionally just tearful hearing that phrase and makes our hairs go up
Yeah.
on our body, right?
Yeah.
If they have just, we're feeling just a little tiny bit, that love on it must be, again, something that we don't understand or can't comprehend
Yeah.
in this world.
I think the whole topic of mediumship and it reflecting back to you where you're at, because I know for myself in the beginning of my mediumship journey, life was good. It was cotton candy and butterflies and pink unicorns in the sky. And my readings reflected that. And then as life went on and life got more challenging, my readings reflected that. The people that I served, they had more challenging life. So I find spirit always brings to you. I always find it interesting at the end of the reading, you kind of look at it and you're like, oh, wait, I'm going through that right now.
I can
Or
take so
that
much
just
of
happened
that
to me last week. And for the next month, all your readings are have a theme. So you're also, as a medium, learning and growing
at the same time.
as you're
Yeah.
being of service to spirit and being of service to those people. I find it so fascinating. I find that so
They
fascinating.
are our best teachers, Maria.
Yeah,
They are our best teachers on the other side. They are our best friends. And they just want nothing but love from us, to love them. And they just want nothing but the best for us, just the best for us when we're here. As we're, so you had those experiences and then you had those other experiences. So that is a beautiful thing because as you begin to even develop and grow further, you're able to manage those difficult and challenging readings as
yeah,
and they will come up. They will come up down the road, other readings that will be challenging. And what's the right words, the emotions, how do we interpret what to say to the sitter? It's almost like a guessing game sometimes. And doing a reading, looking at your client, sitting with the spirit, it's all together. It's a
yeah,
very subtle thing. It's the experience at the same time. Are you okay if I go further when you see the tears or triggers coming in? Feeling also the blending of the spirit, interpreting that and continuing with the reading, and also managing. Maybe they have other loved ones around them,
yeah,
feeding them or being in a blended reading.
yeah,
It's again such a it's a multifaceted experience using all our clairs, but it's also uh, as I would say a full-time job when
yeah,
when you're in that moment. And it takes experience, take time, practice.
Yeah, I think too, for people that are listening right now, if you are new to this journey, do not be scared. Do not be scared. I want you to go in and have fun with the spirit world. Zero expectations, go in, have fun, because if you go in, you have fun, it's easier to connect with spirit. And then find a mentor. Like, what would you suggest for people that are brand new to this journey? Because I've met so many people and they're just like, it's so overwhelming. So I think first, trust your heart. If you find a circle and it does not feel right, leave. Giving yourself permission
Correct.
to change
Yes.
and explore. So for people brand new to this journey and they have all these experiences happening, Effie, and they're just like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with this. This scares me. Where do I go? What do I do?" They got like a million questions going on in their head, like I did in the beginning of my journey. Uh, what would you recommend for them?
So I would, a couple of things. I would tell them to, when you're in circles and you see a medium read, to ask them who they have developed with, who is their tutor. That's what I would do.
If you like them.
If you like, oh, yes,
If
but
you
to
like
ask
their
them,
style of
the
reading.
reading, yes. The
Yes.
other one is to do your research. Do your research.
Yeah.
Look around for mediums that have done readings, and they're on YouTubes, they're on podcasts, and look for how long they've been a medium, how long they have been a professional medium, how long they have been a tutor. For also look at the reviews and feel who you are drawn to, that pull inside. Feel that. There will be some that you will be called to when you see them. I like her. I like him. I want to train under them. Do take your time. There's no rush to this.
Yes.
Also, start to just focus, meditate which direction your spiritual journey is taking you. I have known many, many mediums that started off as mediums, and afterwards, they became nurses or healers or went into astrology or painters or opened up their own stores. But if it wasn't for starting their mediumship or spiritual journey, they would have never knew the potential that they had inside them to
Yeah.
move into that direction and to do their life calling and to find their soul purpose. Also, for teachers, when you're looking at not just their credentials, see referrals, ask around, because today the best source of finding someone is an actual referral of someone that you trust.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
still the number one old school recommendation. Referrals, word of mouth. Word of mouth. If you see a teacher has 1,000 or many, many followers, it doesn't mean that they're not a good teacher. They may not be the teacher or tutor for you.
Yes.
So go to people or to look around, research, research, research. Take your time. Take your time and go slow. Don't compare yourself to others. You
Yes.
do you. Everybody has their own style, and that is what the beauty of all of us are. We have our own unique way of lending, but also who we are inside. Trust that confidence. There's going to be readings that are going to be here, really, really great, here, and here. That's part of your journey.
Yeah.
Even the most incredible mediums, I can tell you, don't have great readings. If a reader tells you I get 100% all the time, run. Turn the other way.
Yeah.
Run. There is no one that is 100%. No one.
They get no's. I do like how you said this in the beginning, so I want to circle back to it because I do think it's an important statement that you made, where some people in the beginning of their journey will learn mediumship and then go off to be nurses or go into the corporate world but be of service, right?
Yeah.
So I think because I've been having this conversation the last month. See how this works. So it's giving ourselves permission to develop our spiritual side and know, like, you don't have to quit your job tomorrow and put up a shingle and offer readings. because we've been having this conversation. I've been having this conversation with so many people this past week where it's like, well, I really want to open up my spiritual side, but it's over here and work's over here, and I'm in the middle and I don't know what to do. I'm very stuck. Giving you permission to be your one soul. It's that spiritual side is craving to come out. Let it come out
Yes, yes,
wherever you feel
very good,
guided.
Maria. Let in, and you'll
It will
know,
enhance your life, your
and
work,
that's
your
from your
job. You don't have to quit
spiritual
your job.
soul. Yes, exactly, exactly. And it's so beautiful to see when people are fulfilling their life's purpose and
Yeah,
really doing what they really love to do, because what we really want in this world is to express ourselves in the most authenticated way possible.
yeah,
That's what we really, and when you get to that place where you're able to do that and to find what you love to do, it should be naturally. You don't have to try hard to do it. It just comes naturally. And I bestow to everyone to, like Maria said, give yourself permission. Allow that blending, allow that creativity to come inside you, and be curious where it will take you. Be curious where direction you'll go. And it may not be mediumship, it may not be psychic, it may not be Reiki. You may be called to do something else. And if you hadn't taken that development class or started to grow into your spiritual awakening, you would have never come upon that. Never. I absolutely love it when I see someone that is doing something naturally. And I go, how did you come into this? She goes, I took a mediumship class 101 and I just realized I was a really good painter. And, or I was of spirit art, and I didn't realize I could do this, or I could write books, or I became an author, or an
yeah.
editor, or I love working with the hospice, so I went back to school and I took a hospice course, or I became a coordinator. You don't know where it'll take you. I always wanted to be a teacher. I always wanted to be a teacher. And you're not too old to be a teacher. Your journey going into that, you could go into a part-time school working with children or working in the office as an aide. You don't know what direction it'll take you. I leave you with that, Maria.
I like that. And I'm going to go back to sitting in the power or meditating for those that are listening, because when you go into, first of all, have fun. Whatever you decide to do, make sure it feeds your soul and it makes you smile and you wake up and you're happy. And then second, when you are sitting in the power, because we've been talking about that for this hour, and that's just a deeper meditation of blending with spirit. It's in that quiet that you hear your inner voice that guides you to where you need to go. That's what actually happens. Because we're always go, 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 go. And I'm too busy, I'm too busy, I'm too busy. And then you crash. So you're always in your mind, but that allows you to connect with your soul, with that inner voice that's just dying
That's
to
right.
connect with you, your spirit guides that are just like, I have something to tell you. And now that you're quiet, you'll hear those whispers of your soul, and then you'll be guided to where you need to go. And I think too, before we say goodbye, it's not an either or situation.
You have free will.
Yeah, it's
You
not.
always have free will. Your spirit
Yeah.
guides will never force you that you have to do this or my spirit guide told me to do this. They will never do that, your spirit team.
Yeah,
You have free will and you have many, many options.
just have fun. Just have
Yes,
fun.
at the end of the day, and remember, we're all one. We're all one.
And with that, I want to say thank you so much, Effie,
Oh,
for
thank
being
you,
with us.
Maria.
So, Effie, if people want to connect with you, how would they reach out to you?
Sure, I do have a website. It is mediumaliyah.com. I also have a Facebook. I'm on social media, Psychic and Medium Effie. And I guess it's mostly on my website, www.mediumaliyah.com, or you can just Google Effie Link Medium and it'll show up on the search bar.
Oh, perfect. And I will have those links for you if you guys want to get in touch with Effie, or maybe you want to share your story. So email either one of us, because
Absolutely.
I love hearing people's stories, as you guys know. So thank you so much for being with us. Okay,
Blessings
and
to
goodbye,
you.
everybody.
Take care.